Hello and welcome to another Kemetic Byte. I'm your host, Sharon. Usually I make it a point to avoid anything political on my channel because it doesn't belong here. The way I see it, religion deals with the universal and politics is always local. But unfortunately, one of the trends that I've seen over at least the last 15 years has been a lot of things that really, by all rights, shouldn't be political have become such. And one of them that specifically I want to address is the basic rights and dignity of people who are either transgender, gender fluid, people who have mood or mental disorders, and people who are part of the furry subculture. Recently, people have asked me if the Kemetic Reform tradition that I started is a safe place for them if they're part of one of these categories. And I am here to tell you, right now, I am speaking up for you and I'm saying yes, you are welcome in the Kemetic Reform tradition, and I'm personally advocating for you at this moment. Now, I get that a lot of people don't understand the whole redefining of gender. It's something that I'm still learning about myself. And I can definitely recommend, there's an issue of National Geographic, I believe it came out in January of 2017, and it talks about gender. And it explained a lot of things that I didn't know at the time, and what a lot of the different terms mean, and lots of phenomenon around the world. It's very educational. I really recommend you look for it. But I can also tell you a little bit about my own experience. Because, you see, when I was in elementary school, I actually thought of myself with male pronouns. Physically, I knew I was a girl, but I wasn't comfortable with that. And I thought of myself secretly, as male. And I really didn't make peace with being female and that being a part of my identity until I was about 13 or 14. But I know why it is that I was able to, and why some people aren't able to do that. Because I had obviously the right levels of the right hormones start to kick in at puberty, but also I found female characters, female role models, if you will, that helped me to see a different side of being a girl, and something that I resonated with, something besides, the girly southern crap that got rammed down my throat when I was a kid. When I was little, I got told all the time, that the things that I liked were for boys, that the things I was doing weren't ladylike. And I got a very strong subconscious message that, only males were valid. So that's why I thought of myself as what everybody around me and my parents obviously wanted. When I got to be, actually the summer that I turned 15, I happened to catch a couple of things that really resonated with me. I watched Terminator 2, and I saw what an incredibly powerful and well-built character Sarah Connor was. And then, just a few weeks later, I went to go and see Batman Returns in the theater, and I just adored Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, because she was fierce, and she owned her sexuality. And that was something that I just fell in love with. And to this day, whenever I do get the chance to work out, I'm wanting, arms like Linda Hamilton. Still working on it. But had any of those circumstances been different, I could be telling you a different story now. And I realized that other people have different circumstances, physical and environmental. And I wouldn't be true to myself if I tried to preach to you and tell you how to live your life. I would rather meet you with an open mind and ask questions if I thought it was relevant, and then listen to what you had to say. And the same thing goes for people who have mood disorders or mental disorders. It's the kind of thing that at one point in time we would have labeled as mental illness, but people are trying to get away from that and try and destigmatize what it is to have those conditions, and so they use other terms, things that are often more specific to what somebody has. And one way to think about it, oftentimes having a mental disorder is a type of disability because it affects your day-to-day life, and you have to have things to adapt. Instead of using a cane or a wheelchair, you use medications and therapy. And if you wouldn't hate on Darren for using a wheelchair, then why would you hate on someone just because they have to take medication and see a therapist? Now, frankly, as a pagan who worships deities that manifest in hybrid animal forms, I see no reason to criticize anyone who's a furry. Now, I went to Texas Furry Fiesta in January of 2019 because I wanted to see what the scene was all about. I wanted to learn more about it. And I have to tell you, it was a great convention, and there were some incredibly creative and talented people at this convention. I decided then and there that whenever this temple gets to a point where we need an Anubis mask, or if we get fortunate enough to put on a production of The Triumph of Horus and we need Horus and Jehuti masks, I'm commissioning a furry artist to do them. Because those are some really talented and really phenomenal artists. And they deserve our support, not blanket condemnation. Frankly, I fail to see where fetishizing moe anime girls, or even robots, that's not my artwork by the way, is somehow more okay than fetishizing anthropomorphic animals. And by the way, most of the artwork, those animals look like adults. They don't look like little girls. So, frankly, I see your standard and raise you double. If you disagree with my position on any of this, that's okay. You have the right to your own opinion, and you're still welcome to watch my videos, and to read my books, and to participate. But understand that in live services, or in any online forum or community, under the banner of Kemetic reform, all of the folks that I just mentioned are equally as welcome as you are. And I expect and insist that you keep any disapproval of them to yourself and treat them with basic courtesy and dignity. I have no right to press you over your opinions and your own beliefs. But if it's a space that I admin, I have and will exercise the right to stop bad behavior and to call users who act with disrespect. I don't like doing that, but if I'm forced to make a choice, you probably won't like what I choose. One day, we will have a physical Kemetic reform convention, and everyone will be equally welcome there too. But there will be security, and the same stipulations that I just outlined will still apply. A part of me still hates having to even talk about these things at this point, because I consider them a part of basic decency. Remember, as pagans, we're still a marginal group. In ancient Rome, the Isis religion attracted women and slaves, people who had no rights under Roman law. And today, paganism is doing the same thing. It's attracting people who live on the fringes of society. And there are people of all sorts on those fringes. And rather than focus on, the identities of these people who are marginalized, and saying, well, I'm not like those people, I'd rather us focus on the kinship we have as pagans, and especially as Egyptian pagans, Kemetics, rather than the other way around. I'd rather us focus on that and build on it, because that's the only way we're going to stop being on the fringes and be recognized by the rest of society like we deserve. Now, I'll have some more videos coming very soon. The snowstorm that happened last month really threw a lot of things off, and we're finally starting to get back to normal. The bushes all still look like they're dead. We're finally getting, full grocery shelves again, although it's kind of spotty. So it's been really weird, and I owe you guys a lot of videos, but stay tuned. I'll have more of them, and I will see you all again very soon. In the meantime, this is Sharon with another Kemetic Byte, wishing you Senepti.
Do you have a question about Egyptian paganism? Share it in the comments section, and it could be the topic of the next Kemetic Byte. Don't forget to subscribe, and join me on Patreon for more videos, outtakes, and exclusives.